They threw you into the fire. Not a literal fire, no. They lit the kind that burns the soul. They surrounded you with doubt, betrayal, and whispers meant to cut deeper than any blade. This is the end, they said. This is where you fall. But you did not fall. They imagined you groveling. They imagined tears spilling down your face as you begged for mercy, for acceptance, for forgiveness that they never intended to give. They imagined you small, broken, begging. They imagined wrong, because instead of bending, instead of breaking, instead of begging, you walked away, and as you stepped into the unknown, the world shifted, not instantly, not like magic, but slowly, painfully, beautifully. You began to move beyond their control. You began to move beyond their lies. You began to move beyond them entirely. They expected weakness. They expected you to stay. They expected the version of you that they could manipulate. Did they really think that you were so fragile that a few harsh words, a few betrayals, a few lies could shatter you? Did they really believe that you were fragile when you had already survived the nights that never ended, the days that never promised warmth, the moments when everyone else turned their back? They expected tears. You delivered strength. They expected silence. You found your voice. They expected defeat. You found your fire. The world, at that moment, held its breath, because they never expected this version of you to exist. They never expected that the person they tried to break had already begun to rise, and rise you did. At first it hurt. Oh, how it hurt. Every betrayal, every insult, every lie, they cut into you, into your heart, into the very essence of who you were. You questioned yourself. You doubted yourself. You wondered if the world had conspired against you personally. But then, in the quiet darkness, you found something no one else could take from you. Resilience, strength forged in the fire of adversity, power sculpted from heartbreak, wisdom carved from pain. Every night became a classroom. Every struggle became a teacher. Every betrayal became a lesson in survival. And slowly, imperceptibly at first, you began to change. You learned that the storms around you were not meant to drown you. They were meant to awaken you. You learned that fire does not destroy the steel hidden in the soul, it tempers it. You learned that the weight of the world, when carried alone, builds your back into unshakable armor. And as you walked through the chaos, the darkness, the pain, you began to see clearly. You began to see the patterns. You began to see who truly mattered and who was nothing more than smoke and shadow in your life. Can you feel it? That shift in the air? That moment when they realized they underestimated you? They thought their words, their manipulation, their control was enough to hold you down forever. Did they think you'd stay a prisoner of their expectations? Did they think their betrayal would define you? Did they think their opinion of you was the final word? No, they were wrong. And now every step you take, every breath you draw, every small victory becomes a mirror reflecting their failure, their envy, their fear, their confusion. It all becomes fuel for your ascent. They watch, helpless, as the very person they tried to destroy transforms into someone unrecognizable, unstoppable. And you smile. Not out of arrogance, not out of spite, but because you finally understand the truth. You are not here to prove anything to them. You are here to prove everything to yourself. Now imagine this, you walking alone in a storm. Rain lashes against your skin, wind howls like the voice of those who doubted you, and lightning splits the sky with terrifying beauty. And yet, you do not flinch, you do not falter, you do not look back. You have grown roots where they expected only sand. You have built wings where they thought you were earthbound. You have forged a fire from betrayal, a light from heartbreak, a throne from pain. And every step you take becomes a declaration. Every choice to rise, to build, to create becomes a small triumph. Every moment you refuse to be defined by their expectations becomes a victory. You are no longer asking permission. You are no longer seeking approval. You are no longer waiting for validation. You are the storm and the calm. You are the fire and the light. You are the unshakable presence that commands the world to notice, whether it wants to or not. And as you rise, they watch, they whisper, they wonder. How is this possible? They ask. How did they survive? You smile, quietly, because you know the truth. It was never about surviving them. It was about discovering yourself. Imagine now that crown forged from fire, each jewel a betrayal, each spike a lesson. You place it on your head, not as a symbol of revenge, but as proof of mastery. You walk among storms, but you are unshaken. You walk among chaos, but you are serene. You walk among doubt, but you are unwavering. They watch, impotent. They cannot touch this version of you. They cannot wound this version of you. They cannot stop this version of you, because the true power is not in striking back. It is in rising higher, in walking further, in becoming more than they could ever imagine. Now feel it deep in your chest, that unstoppable power, that unshakable certainty. You no longer need their validation. You no longer need their approval. You no longer need their recognition. You have become your own kingdom, your own standard, your own destiny. The world can throw storms, fire, chaos, and betrayal, but none of it touches you. You have learned that the ultimate weapon is serenity. The ultimate triumph is self-mastery. The ultimate victory is indifference to those who sought to control you. They thought they had you. They thought they could dictate your life. They thought their words, their manipulation, their expectations would bind you forever. But you walked away. And in walking away, you became everything they feared and everything they could never be. Unstoppable, serene, whole. Look at yourself now. Look at the distance you've traveled, the battles you've survived, the person you've become. They thought you'd beg, but you didn't. You chose yourself. You chose your peace. You chose your life. Every step forward is a declaration. I am free. Every breath is a reminder. I am powerful. Every heartbeat is proof. I am unstoppable. They can watch. They can whisper. They can hope for your downfall, but you are already beyond them. You are already above them. You are already infinite. They thought you'd beg, but you walked away, and in that act of courage, of clarity, of self-respect, you claimed everything they tried to take from you. Your freedom, your power, your life. Walk away. Rise. Conquer. Live without fear. Create without limits. Love without boundaries, because you are unstoppable. You are unbreakable. You are infinite. They thought you'd beg, but you walked away. And now, nothing can stop you. They thought the silence would be your surrender. They thought the absence of your voice meant defeat. But silence is not always weakness. Silence is the quiet storm brewing inside, the steel forging itself in secret, the preparation for a rise that no one can anticipate. You were building yourself when they were busy celebrating your supposed downfall. Every betrayal they threw at you became a spark. Every lie, every manipulation, every attempt to control you, these were the brushstrokes painting the masterpiece of your resilience. Can you see it? Every insult is a jewel. Every smear is a step toward your throne. Every rejection is a rehearsal for the greatness you were always meant to become. Do you feel the weight of it all? The nights you cried, thinking no one would understand. The mornings you woke up with a heart heavy and raw. Those were not moments of weakness. They were moments of preparation. Moments where your soul was learning to bend without breaking, to absorb without surrendering, to rise without permission. They underestimated patience. They underestimated courage. They underestimated the quiet power of someone who has no more illusions left. They expected drama, tears, chaos, but you gave them none instead. You gave them the storm in your calm, the fire in your stillness, the power in your silence. And now, imagine the look in their eyes the first time they see you not struggling, not pleading, but thriving. Do you hear the silence that follows? The confusion, the disbelief. They wanted a version of you they could control, a version small enough to manipulate. Instead, they meet someone infinite, unshakable, untouchable. and they do not know what to do with it. This is the secret they cannot comprehend. The real victory is not in making them pay, not in returning hatred with hatred. The real victory is in walking away with dignity and tact, in keeping your soul whole, in moving forward when they are still trapped in their games. Every step you take away from their chaos is a triumph. Every time you refuse to engage in their drama, you reclaim your power. Every time you choose your path, you declare independence from their illusions. Do you feel the tension yet? That subtle thrill running through your veins as you realize you are untouchable. That electric knowing that you are no longer a pawn in their story, but the author of your own epic? You are sculpting a life that cannot be tarnished, a destiny that cannot be rewritten, a legacy they cannot erase. And even now, there are moments when doubt creeps in, nights when fear whispers, "What if I'm not enough? What if I fail?" But let me remind you, you have survived every what if that life has thrown before. You have endured storms that no one else could survive. You have faced yourself in mirrors that showed only flaws and walked away stronger. Every fear is just another stepping stone. Every doubt another tool in the workshop of your transformation. Picture yourself standing on the edge of a cliff. The wind lashes at your face. The clouds swirl violently above you. The rain is relentless, yet you stand there, unwavering, because you have walked through fire, you have endured betrayal, you have faced the darkest corners of your soul, and you are still here. You are alive, you are whole. You are more powerful than ever before, and the crown you wear, do you see it? It is not a crown forged by others. It is not given to you by their permission. It is created from every hardship, every tear, every battle. Each jewel is a story of survival. Each spike is a testament to endurance. And you wear it not to boast, but to remind yourself and the world of who you truly are. Even now, some will look at you and misunderstand. They will confuse your calm with indifference, your confidence with arrogance. Let them watch as you move through life untethered by their expectations. Let them witness the strength that cannot be shaken, the peace that cannot be disturbed, the power that cannot be questioned, because the ultimate triumph is not in proving them wrong. The ultimate triumph is in proving to yourself that you were never theirs to break, you were never theirs to control, you were never theirs to define. And the fact that you now walk away freely, joyfully, powerfully, that is your rebellion, that is your masterpiece, that is your victory. So, the next time they try to corner you, the next time they whisper your name expecting to see you crumble, remember this: they are watching a force they can never contain. They are witnessing the rise of someone who has seen the abyss and smiled. Someone who has felt the weight of betrayal and still chosen to rise. Someone who knows that the true power is not in reaction, but in the serene, unstoppable movement forward. And that is the message of your life. They thought you'd beg, but you walked away. They thought you would be small, but you became infinite. They thought they could define you, but you wrote your own story. And in doing so, you have become everything they could never touch, everything they could never imagine, everything they could never hope to be. Walk away.